Hello everyone, this is Mumbo here, welcome back, and today we are back on the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 34, and we're currently over here by Hermit's Thrills, ready to start recording another video. And I've got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we had a lot of fun over here in the previous episode, riding all of the rides that the Hermits have built, but don't worry ladies and gents, we aren't going to be doing anything over here in today's episode. We're not going to be riding any more rides. We had enough fun. Now we are going to be getting back down to business, and we're going to be doing a little bit of work over at the Mumbo Jumbo. But the reason I'm starting over here is because the other day I was doing a live stream, and we were playing Climb Time. Now I was trying to get a high score, and boy oh boy, did I get a high score. If you remember in the previous episode of Hermitcraft, I managed to get a score of 85, and I personally thought that was pretty impressive. But if we take a look on this next page, 14! I managed to get a score of 14 on Climb Time. It was incredible. Everything went absolutely perfectly. I was performing my jumps like a madman, strategically traveling up through all of the trapdoors. We were professionals, okay, and it really did go well. So yes, we currently have the fastest time on Climb Time in Hermit Thrills, and that is something that I'm very, very proud of, because I've never really won anything. I mean, seriously, I've never really won anything in my life, and currently, we are top dogs. Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but my voice seems to be a couple of octaves lower today. I don't know what's happening with my voice this week. So far, the beginning of the week, I was all nasally and bunged up and sounding horrible. Then on Wednesday, I had a completely normal day. And now it seems in the later part of the week, I've gone through a deep stage. I've got a jazzy, deep voice, which I could actually get used to, okay? I really could get used to this. I don't mind it. But I sincerely hope that you guys don't start to get used to my slightly deeper voice, because you're going to be disappointed when my slightly higher voice comes back. But anyway, how about this? I have done a little bit of work off camera here, and as you can see, the roof is done. Now this was actually done in a live stream the other day, and as you can see, it is looking absolutely glorious. We have replaced all of that ugly sandstone that we had going on, because you know how it is, the underside of sandstone blocks looks like porridge, and that's not particularly nice. So we took all of that out, we've replaced it with birch wood, and then in these sections here, we have just used snow. Now this is actually the surface. This is the surface layer, so if you take out any of these blocks, it will be right the way through to the sky. But it looks good. I'm very, very happy with it. It's so much nicer than it was beforehand, adds a nice bit of depth. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with this place. Now it's all well and good that the inside is looking absolutely lovely, but if we take a look on the outside, yeah, that really isn't so hot. We really need to do some work on this outer section here, and that is what we're going to be starting off with today, and I think I'm going to pretty much replicate what we have going on here on this side as well. So that means up at the top, around this top layer, we're going to have to add some snow in so that it replicates this side. So I'm going to crack on with that one, and then I'll catch you guys in a little bit. Why do I do this to myself? How on earth do I manage to get this sort of thing so very wrong on such a large number of occasions? As you can see, these iron blocks here, they are a little bit higher than these iron blocks right here, and that means I've got to take out all of these. I've got to remove all of them, and I've got to replace them all. Honestly, it's not going to take that long, but it's just one of those little inconveniences that I could do without having right now. Does this here, all of this iron and snow going around the outside, look like it's taken 30 minutes to place? No? Well, that's good then, because it hasn't taken half an hour just yet, but it has taken around about 25 minutes, which is considerably longer than I was expecting it to take to do one side of the bowl. It really is a shame, but of course we are working with water here, and it's driving me round the bend. I am getting really quite frustrated about the fact that every time I remove one of the blocks, I'm just blasted off the edge of my scaffolding, and that is even with Depth Strider 3. If I didn't have Depth Strider 3 in this situation, I'd be going nuts right now. I probably would have given up on recording this, because I have probably fallen off this scaffolding more than 10 times now, which is a bit of a shame. But as you can see, one side of this is now done. We have the other half left to do, and you know what? I'm actually feeling pretty positive about it. It looks relatively good, it fits in with the theme, and I think we could end up with a really nice end product here. So I'm going to keep working, and we'll see what it looks like once it's done. So I just popped back to Hermit Hills, picked up a few supplies, some iron, some snow, and all that sort of stuff, and I was just popping back into my base, and it reminded me of a tweet that I recently received that said that the front of my base looks a lot like a sword. Now, it took me a while to see it, but I think I can see it now. So that there is the blade. Then we have got the handles either side like that. And then we have got the actual grip of the sword down the bottom. And now that I've spotted it, I really can't miss it. That is a full-on sword. Another thing that people have pointed out as well is the fact that this section here looks like a bit of a big M, as in M for Mumbo, which is quite cool. I've got loads of little subliminal messages inside my base apparently, which I suppose is fairly nice. Would you look at that? All the way around the wall now we have got this iron band and a little bit of snow on top. And if you're wondering why I haven't made the iron band protrude away from the snow like we did on this stage right here, is simply because if I did it on both sides, I'm starting to think that maybe that would start blocking out way too much light. If we had all of the blocks sticking out into here and off in this direction, our little band of light that we're receiving from the sky would be getting ever so slightly smaller, and I think it would start getting very dark and dingy on this layer here, and that's not exactly what I want, because this whole build is about being bright and light. I know you can't really tell it just yet, because most of the build is pretty dark and there's mobs spawning everywhere, but I promise you, it's all about the light, okay? We're going for that sort of look because I know that in the previous season of Hermitcraft, my previous base was all pretty dark and dingy, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. So that is why I have made this iron flush with all of the snow going right the way around. It goes right the way around the build, all the way around the bowls. So now what we've got to do is we've got to replicate this section in these walls here. Now obviously, because this iron isn't protruding, that means that we can't place down the slabs just yet. What we have to do is we have to take out all of this wall. We have to knock this entire wall back by 2 blocks all the way around. I'd say it's going to take quite a long time. I really don't know how long it's going to take, but I'd say it's going to be a pretty lengthy process, but I'm going to get my head down and start working on it. Alright, so the first big section has been cleared out, and immediately I've struck into a bit of a big problem, okay? So, as I'm sure you can imagine, the way that I've done this is I just mined 3 blocks back from here, and then I mined 3 blocks back there, 3 blocks back there, and all the way across up to around about this point, and then I thought to myself, we seem to be getting quite close to all of this, so I decided to do it from the other side, 3 blocks back, all the way across like that, and as you can see, you sort of strike into a bit of a problem, because it's 3 blocks back from here, but it's only 2 blocks back from there, and we're basically doing it a little bit wrong, because I don't know how to explain this particularly well, but we've taken it 3 blocks out from here, and we're taking it 3 blocks out in this direction, all the way across the entire circle. Now, if you take it out 3 blocks out in this direction from this point forth, you basically take it across like this, and you don't add any depth, which doesn't make any sense. So, it's just not going to work from a mathematical point of view, is what I'm trying to say here. So I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm basically going to construct this as I go along. So I'll mine it out, and then I'll place in all of the blocks, make sure it all works, then I'll move on to the next section, and so on and so forth. Hopefully that produces an actually mathematical correct structure, because otherwise we're going to end up with a bit of a wonky build. The first quarter of the outer bowl is now completed, and I've been doing just a little bit experimenting here. I don't know if you can notice, but going around the center of all of our iron blocks, we have got some diorite. I still don't know the names of the new blocks that are introduced. I can't remember how long ago they were introduced, but I don't really use them that often, and I thought it was about time that I gave it a tester, and I'm not 100% sold on it, okay? Here's my problem. Diorite, for me, is a bit of a busy texture, okay? There's a lot of noise, there's quite a lot going on. The reason that I like iron blocks and compressed ice blocks and stone slabs is because there isn't much going on, okay? They're nice sort of slabs. They don't really have any exciting stuff going on with them, whereas diorite, there's all sorts of stuff happening on there, which can work relatively nicely if you use it in certain ways. For example, Slipgator makes some amazing builds using that block right there, but I personally am feeling pretty inexperienced with using it, but I thought I would experiment a little bit, so let me know what you think to this little area down in the comments section. But other than that, I really do like the way that this looks. It looks so futuristic and pretty amazing, actually. If we just take a look at it from this sort of angle, the way that it curves around the build, I love it. I absolutely love it. I cannot get enough of this sort of building style. I'm super happy with it, so now I'm going to continue it around the entire thing. I really do wish the ice spikes biome was a little bit closer to home. It's really quite frustrating having to go all that way in the nether to get over here, but as you can see, I've been doing my fair share of mining. We've managed to gather up almost an entire inventory full of compressed ice, which is pretty good. That should be plenty for us to continue this build, and also plenty of projects in the future, so that's always nice. But now, as always, I have lost the nether portal, so I've got to try and find my way home, which could take longer than expected. So finally, we are halfway done on this build. It really is taking its time. It seems to be a surprisingly difficult thing to do with all of the resources that need to be gathered and all of the blocks that need to be taken out to make way for this thing, but on the bright side, it is looking fantastic. It's looking so good. I know that there's going to be people disagreeing with me down in the comment section, but I seriously love the way that this build is looking. The only thing that I would say is a bit of a problem right now is lighting. I still have absolutely no idea how I'm going to light this thing up. I'll probably implement some form of sea lantern or glowstone into the build at some point, But of course, we are only halfway done. We have gone from all the way around there, right the way across like this, right the way over to this side. But of course, this side is still looking horrendously ugly. And you know what? I'm not going to do any more progress updates. We're going to be moving across to a time-lapse. And because you guys really enjoy them, we're going to be having a little bit of a time-lapse chat. So let's begin. As you guys know, during these little time-lapse chats, I like to talk about things that you guys have asked me in the YouTube comment section on Twitter, or in this case, during a live stream. I was reading through the Twitch chat the other day, and somebody asked me, what do you do outside of Minecraft and outside of YouTube? Now, obviously, I'm a full-time college student, okay? At the minute, that is the main thing that I do with the rest of my time. I go to college during the day, come home, make Minecraft videos, and then generally speaking, go to bed straight after that because I'm completely knackered and I've expelled quite a lot of my energy. And obviously, those two things put together, they take up quite a large quantity of my time. We're talking, you know, a large number of hours here, so I don't have much time to do other things. But, of course, as you guys know, one of my main passions is cars. I really do love cars. And one thing that I do quite often with my friends is we go out and drive to various locations with my friends in the car. It doesn't sound particularly interesting. We're not going to those locations to do anything particularly spectacular. It is mostly just to drive there. It sounds odd, especially when I say it like that. I feel a little bit strange saying that, but for anyone who is interested in cars and has friends that enjoy cars as well, it's just one of those things that is pleasantly enjoyable, just being able to drive along, chat to your mates about various things, have a bit of a laugh, and then come home late at night. So that's one thing that I do enjoy doing, but outside of cars, Minecraft, and college, I actually really enjoy going to the gym. Once again, that might surprise quite a few of you because generally speaking, the gym is one of those things that you're really meant to hate. It's like, well, I've got to go to the gym, but I seriously enjoy it. I've been going to the gym for around about 2 years now, and one of my favorite things about going to the gym is seeing a positive transformation. That's pretty much the only reason that we do it. It's really hard work while you're there. It's tough. It really hurts. But when you see that you've actually made an improvement in your health and in your body, it feels pretty good. When I started going to the gym, I weighed in at about 17 stone. Now that is extremely heavy. I'm 6'5", I'm pretty tall, but that is still pretty heavy. But now I am around about 12.8 stone, which is pretty good. I'm fairly happy with that weight. And now I'm actually concentrating on putting more weight on in the form of muscle, which of course is quite hard work, okay? I really am putting in the hours in the gym. It's tough, and like I say, it hurts, but the positive transformation is where it all is. I guess you could say I'm a man of few interests, because those are my main ones. Outside of those, I do really enjoy longboarding. It's something very satisfying about just completely bombing it down a hill at great pace on a plank of wood. That is a pretty good feeling, but I don't really have many people to do that with, so sadly I don't get to do that very often. Back in the day, I used to really enjoy BMXing. That is what I used to do, but sadly, as I said, I grew to 6'5", and 6'5" and BMXs, it doesn't really go too well together. You look like you're riding a child's bike, and that is a bit of a shame. So I had to give that one up, and that's one thing that I really do miss. But I am considering getting back into mountain biking, but once again, no one that I'm friends with really does anything like that. So I need to make some new friends there. But anyway, that is what I do outside of Minecraft and YouTube. I hope that you found it interesting. I hope that I haven't forgotten anything that I really enjoy, but I feel like I haven't. Like I say, I'm a man of very few interests, but the things that I do find enjoyable, I do them quite often. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is now all in place. Would you look at this? It looks brilliant. I have got a beaming smile on my face because this has worked out 10 times better than expected. Goes right the way around like this. It even goes behind the beacon. I was considering not doing that, but I'm actually in the process of working the beacon into the base a little bit. I am going to move it at some point, but for now, it seems to work. It allows me to get onto this level pretty easily using the ladder. So for the minute, that is going to be staying there. But I have to say, this is all coming together very nicely now. The base is starting to look relatively complete, which has actually come about much sooner than I was expecting. I was planning on spending around about 4-5 episodes on doing all of this, but I think we've managed to get it all done in about 2 episodes. Of course, we still do have a few bits to do on the inside. First things first, we have got to clear out all of this dirt up here. We are going to be replacing this with snow so that it matches up with this section. Or I could, in fact, replace all of this with nether quartz. That could look good. I might have to do a bit of experimentation, and also we don't really have any nether quartz. But yeah, that could be a pretty good idea of what to place in that section there. I thought I would try it out using snow first, and I have to say, I'm pretty happy with it. It looks absolutely fine. It suits the rest of the build, so I'm happy with this. So I've put it in all of the other sections, and that means that the entire roof is all completely done. Now, this is how it is going to look, and I'm happy with it. I think the roof looks absolutely brilliant. It's much better than it did beforehand using the old sandstone, so this is good news. Also, if we head on the outside, of course, we've got all of this outside section done as well, so the base really is coming together now. Now, all there is left to do is this central section here. So for those of you who don't know, what we're going to be doing in this middle area here is we're going to be having chests for all of our most commonly used items. So that is things like cobblestone, dirt, we're going to have all the different types of andesite, diorite, and all that sort of thing. Those can all go in this section, and any other types of blocks that I use quite often, for example, sand. Now we are going to have one set of chests on either side like this, and we're going to be using a storage silo system, which basically will allow us to put a bunch of items in a chest at the top. They will then flow down, go into an item sorter, and then be placed in the various storage silos. I think it will work really very nicely, so what we have to do now is we've got to clear out all of this area to make space for those sorts of contraptions. Alright guys, so the entire central area has now been cleared out. We have gone down a couple of blocks here just to make space for all of the storage silos and all of the decoration, all the awesome stuff that is going to be happening in the central area here, because this is going to be the main hub area of the underground section. This is where all of the items are going to flow down. They're going to go straight down the middle into the item sorter and then up into the storage silos. But I hate to say it, ladies and gentlemen, you may have noticed the previous couple of cuts have been extremely short, and that is because my voice really is going, okay? I am having some serious trouble speaking here. I'm having to drink a heck of a lot of water before doing each one of these cuts, and that is because it is on the way out. So I think I'm going to have to end today's episode just a little bit early in the interest of keeping my voice for another day, because I know if I push it too hard, it's obviously going to completely go, and then I won't be able to record any videos whatsoever. So that is a bit of a shame. I apologize that my voice has played up once again. I know it did it earlier on in the week, and now it seems to be doing it once again. Hopefully this can all be cleared up soon, and I'll be able to go back to recording videos completely normally. But anyway, I am very, very happy with what we have managed to achieve in today's episode of Hermitcraft. We got a ton of stuff done. We are doing very, very well, and we are creating an awesome base over here, if I do say so myself. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I've got time for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.